Many people sit in meditation every day, listen to many teachings, and try many methods, yet deep inside they still feel vague, unsettled, and not truly sure where they are heading. You may have experienced this feeling as well when you practice consistently, but the results do not meet your expectations. And a quiet question begins to arise within you about whether this path is truly right for you. It is precisely these silent moments of doubt that bring you to today's meditation and invite you to turn back inward. Not to fix anything, but to recognize what is operating beneath all of your efforts in practice. When you allow body and mind to slow down enough and become calm enough, the three fundamental elements of the path of practice will gradually reveal themselves in each breath you may never have closely noticed before. They are faith, practice, and aspiration, not merely as concepts you have heard of, but as real currents that guide how you think, how you practice, and how you walk through life. Hello, I am Tan from the Meditation Guidance channel at Lotuszentan 6. And today I would like to share about the meditation journey of recognizing faith, practice, and realizing the most wholesome aspirations. Have you noticed familiar patterns hiding inside you that you believe are your intelligence guiding you, causing your attitude to constantly change as the environment shifts too quickly? But with just a slight lack of mindfulness, you return to the familiar emotional states you have walked with for a long time in the past. Even though those old emotional attitudes are often not beneficial, and even though your intelligence continually warns you to avoid them, a cheerful habit or an unpleasant, irritated reaction often arises from old actions or more deeply. It is accumulated within the operational systems of the organs in your body and in your mind, from which habits and beliefs are also built. The familiarity of old emotions and attitudes guides your faith, sometimes steady, sometimes changing and revolving when influenced by the external environment. Because these familiar patterns, if not clearly seen, will silently decide whether you move forward with clarity or keep circling in rigid thinking. You do not need to strive to achieve any perfect calm. You only need to remain fully present with the experience unfolding within you right now, just as it is. Please gently observe the in-breath and out-breath, because the breath is the bridge that clearly shows us what is familiar and what is clear seeing. Inhale. Gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale. Feel the breath leaving through your nose and notice your belly softening and sinking. When you observe the breath as gentle, deep, and slow, it helps you become more focused and clearer. And you will begin to recognize that the faith you are holding is a habit that leads you to make quick decisions or to become rigid and stubborn in daily life. Even a small faith rooted in familiarity, which makes you choose comfort and avoid discomfort, will guide you in every action from small to large. When we see this clearly, we can build actions over time to transform old habits into better new actions for the future, even when facing difficulties, as long as we are willing to persevere. And finally, we return to aspiration not as a request or a plea, but as a support that allows the mind to stop drifting and to rest in gentle, relaxed focus toward a wholesome and happy destination. But before going deeper, take a moment to sense how fragile the path of practice becomes when there is a lack of stable faith. When faith is lacking, you are like a boat drifting in a vast river, not sinking right away, yet not knowing which shore you are heading toward. Each arising emotion can pull you in a different direction, leaving the mind rarely able to truly rest or have a clear orientation, causing both body and mind to seldom find balanced clarity. You begin to doubt yourself, doubt the path you are on, and gradually even doubt your own capacity for transformation. Without faith as a foundation, you are easily swept along by external voices, especially when groups carrying confusion and negative energy appear. You react quickly based on emotion, yet find it difficult to pause and listen to the clear wisdom within. Decisions made in a state of fluctuation often leave behind lingering fatigue, mistakes, and regret. The further you go, the more tangled you become, because there is no sufficiently stable inner support to return to. Without faith, a journey of awakening can turn into a quiet struggle against yourself. When unease arises, gently recognize it without judgment or self-blame, simply seeing it clearly. As if watching a flowing stream and gently returning to the peaceful breath that you can always return to. Inhale, gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose and notice your belly softening and sinking. Because only when you clearly see the consequences of a lack of trust can you truly understand the value of a faith that is established in the right way. When clear faith is formed from understanding and direct experience, you have a steady direction even as the currents of life become difficult and frequently change course. At this point, faith is no longer a fleeting positive emotion, but a foundation that allows the mind to settle amid countless changes. With a clear direction, each step becomes more energy efficient. And you no longer waste inner strength on hesitation, confusion, or prolonged difficulties that lead to discouragement and fear. You begin to know what to do and what to let go of, not because someone tells you so. But because you have clearly seen it for yourself through the wholesome actions you have cultivated and the mistakes you have genuinely released. You see everything more clearly, no longer obscured by immediate emotional reactions, allowing positive results to gradually appear, and you choose to go deeper to nurture this faith in a sustainable way. When you begin to recognize the importance of faith, the next thing that needs to be looked at directly is how that faith is being formed in your daily life of practice. Many people think they have faith, but in reality they are only holding on to hope, hoping that if they try long enough, something good will eventually happen. This kind of faith is very easy to shake, because it is not nourished by understanding or direct experience, but by expectation and comparison with others. There are people who have meditated for many years, yet, whenever they encounter difficulty or stagnation, they immediately begin to doubt themselves and the path they are on. This doubt is not wisdom, but a form of fluctuation arising from a lack of a stable inner foundation and a return to old familiar patterns. Wise doubt helps you pause, observe, and understand more clearly, while unclear doubt causes you to give up before transformation has a chance to occur. When you cannot distinguish between these two kinds of doubt, you easily lead yourself astray without realizing it. You can see this very clearly in daily life, when you constantly change methods, change teachers, or change directions of practice simply because you do not see results for a period of time. At this moment, I invite you to observe what you are actually relying on to make your decisions, and to take a deep breath to regain clarity. Inhale, gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose and notice your belly softening and sinking. When you are sufficiently mindful, You will know what emotion you are experiencing right now, whether it is joy or sadness, ease or discomfort, and what direction it is guiding you toward. Look to see whether craving, anger, and fear in daily life have less influence over your decisions, or whether they are still quietly directing all your reactions. The process of changing habits and forming a new sense of familiarity also requires time to adjust. When faith is built on such observation, it no longer depends on temporary excitement or disappointment. You begin to understand that the path of meditation does not move in a straight line, but naturally includes phases of rising and falling. There are times when the mind settles deeply and feels stable, or when it surges as it confronts old emotional habits. And there are also periods when it seems as if nothing at all is happening. If you lack faith, these empty or explosive phases become reasons for doubt and discouragement. But when faith is strong enough, you realize that not attaining is also part of the path, and sometimes it is the most important part. Not attaining helps you clearly see the subtle craving that is still operating within all of us. Not attaining helps you learn how to stay without needing a reward. And it is precisely the ability to remain present in these uncomfortable moments that becomes the foundation for deeper transformation. When faith is nurtured in this way, you no longer practice meditation for the sake of gain or loss, but because clarity continues to grow within you and a new, peaceful familiarity is being built. From here, another important element begins to reveal itself, which is practice, meaning how you are actually practicing in each day of your life. Many people mistakenly think that practice is simply the number of hours they sit or the number of sessions they complete each week. But practice is not about how long you sit. It is about whether you return consistently, even when motivation is no longer there. Poor practice often begins with the desire for results to come very quickly. When results do not appear as expected, you easily give up or look for another more attractive path, causing both your actions and your faith to shift. Jumping from one method to another creates a feeling of busyness, but it does not create depth. Lack of consistent practice makes the path fragmented, and inner strength does not have time to accumulate. You may feel that you have done a lot, but when you face real difficulties in life, you find that you have no inner support to return to. Right practice is not about forcing yourself to do more, but about maintaining steadiness within what your body and mind can genuinely allow. Practice in meditation is returning to the breath each day, even for a short period of time, but with full presence. Practice in daily life is how you sleep, eat, speak, and receive information more mindfully in order to reduce the excessive pull of craving, anger, and ignorance. When practice is well maintained, the discipline gradually becomes a natural response rather than a struggle. You no longer need to force yourself to sit, because body and mind have become familiar with the rhythm of returning. As each day passes, a new habit is formed quietly but steadily. When stress arises, you naturally remember the breath without anyone reminding you. When facing conflict, you have the ability to pause before reacting according to old unwholesome habits. Good practice helps you build stable concentration, not only during sitting meditation but also in very ordinary daily activities You gain the capacity to distinguish between direct, genuine experience and temporary collective emotions, allowing you to continue carrying out wholesome aspirations with greater steadiness. When faith has been examined and practice has gradually settled into rhythm, a very natural movement begins to arise within you, where the mind no longer wants to wander but longs to rest at a clear and wholesome point. That resting point is not a special state, nor a feeling of peace that you have to hold on to, but an inner direction that becomes increasingly consistent. Aspiration does not arise while you are still confused and doubting, but only emerges after you have walked long enough to see what truly matters most to you. When faith is steady and practice is mature, aspiration is no longer something memorized, but a very genuine voice arising from within. At this point, you are no longer asking to gain anything more, but simply aspiring not to stray from the path you have seen to be right. Aspiration in meditation is not about asking for peace, calm, or liberation, but about vowing not to turn away from the truth when it appears. Aspiration becomes a focused direction that does not drift, no matter what arises, whether small or large, keeping you awake and continuing to move forward. You aspire to keep returning to the breath, even when the mind is uncomfortable and the body is not at ease in ordinary life. You aspire to practice not running away when emptiness appears and not clinging when pleasant sensations come. This very aspiration gives the mind a point of gathering, so it is no longer pulled away by subtle fluctuations. In daily life, that aspiration continues to operate quietly as a guiding marker. When stress arises, you remember that you have chosen the path of mindfulness rather than reacting according to old habits. When conflict occurs, you have the ability to pause because within you a clear direction has already been established. Aspiration helps you not be swept away by flashy forms of practice that lack depth. Especially in an era full of promises of rapid transformation, while habits are often hard to abandon, you begin to realize that wrong view does not only lie in mistaken opinions, but also hides beneath subtle craving and shortcut mentality. Through aspiration, you are able to distinguish what is direct experience born of long practice and what is merely temporary emotion created by environment or collective influence. When the mind becomes accustomed to returning to a single point, one-pointedness gradually forms without the need for force. One-pointedness is not tense concentration, but a harmony between what you understand, what you do, and what you are moving toward. Return to the breath when concentration becomes unstable, because this is the habit that brings you back to calm most reliably. Inhale. Gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale. Feel the breath leaving through your nose and notice your belly softening and sinking. In this state, energy is no longer scattered in doubt or comparison, but is fully gathered for mindful awareness and observation. You can sit quietly for a long time without feeling the need to achieve anything because full presence itself is enough. This steadiness is not loud, but it carries a strength that helps you move through prolonged periods of stagnation without giving up. Gradually, you realize that the path of practice is no longer a search, but becomes a deeper and deeper returning. Returning to the breathing body, to the knowing mind, and to the direction illuminated by real experience. Within this simple returning, layers of attachment begin to be recognized and naturally fall away without force. And when you are no longer pulled by old impulses, you begin to taste a freedom that is very gentle yet very real. There is no need to move faster and no need to look for anything new, only to walk correctly and steadily with faith, practice, and aspiration clearly seen. Allow yourself to remain for a few more breaths in silence, so that this aspiration can gently settle within as a stable inner support. Inhale. Gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale. Feel the breath leaving through your nose and notice your belly softening and sinking. And from that support, each step in daily life gradually becomes part of the path of liberation, not separate from meditation, not separate from mindfulness. The journey in the game of breath will become more and more fascinating if you truly cherish it. This practice, just like a habit, is a key to unlocking every doorway within your body and mind. So keep watching and keep practicing with me in this video and the ones to come. If you have any thoughts or reflections, feel free to leave a comment below. And if this video helped or inspired you, please click like, subscribe, and share it with others. Thank you.